Yo!
What up?
Greetings to one and all.
Greetings. Welcome to Fast Breaks.
God bless.
By the Soapbox.
Talk, Miles Bridges.
Huh?
God bless.
Talk, Miles Bridges, on and off the court.
Haha.
Respect on Miles Bridges' name.
Respect on the Nets. Let's go
And
Nets.
the rest of the
Cancun
do we
on
need to
three.
respect
That's
them
where the
for?
rest of the league is going. Cancun on three.
What do they need respect for?
You know
Nets?
who needs respect on the Nets? Steve Nash.
That's a fact.
You said
Kyrie.
what?
Word to Kyrie.
Hey, what you said about Steve Nash?
He said you got to respect Steve Nash on the.
Yeah,
on the
you
Nets.
talking about respect the Nets. They got to respect their coaches on the Nets.
Respect Canadian basketball players.
Listen. Welcome to Fast Breaks, presented by the Soapbox. I am your host, Andre Auger. You can follow me on IG at KingAndre007. On my left, or at least on my screen, he's appearing on my left. We got the man himself, Paul Robinson. And I don't care if I said your full government. I don't care. Just go pretend I didn't.
I go by my full government. So that's all right with me. Respect the others, though.
That's a fact.
Paul Robinson, PRR.
Is it a fact, though? We'll see.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Facts. Edit that out. Copyright infringement. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kidding.
PRR 1995 IG, PRR 1995 Flossy. The Soapbox SB. People, we're trying to get our Soapbox followers up. Where you get all the... Listen, if you see us on IG, if you see us wherever, follow the Soapbox. Follow the Soapbox. That's the hub for Fast Breaks. That is the official hub for Fast Breaks.
Where you get knowledge.
And shout out to SND Podcast Channel as well.
Yes, the SND.
SND Podcast Channel. Come on, man. We know
Shout out to them.
You know it's SND. Let's not do
You
it.
said SB. The way you said it. Yes, you did.
Is my mic clear? Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
I can hear you now.
But
I can hear you.
I definitely heard SB too.
That's a fact.
I don't know what y'all hearing.
I
heard my man loud and clear. And I heard SND Podcast.
That's a fact.
Y'all are trying to confuse people.
Shout out to SND
Trying to get your jokes
every
off.
episode.
Yeah. What I heard.
Next, we got the Prince of New Jersey himself.
It's a fact.
New Jersey's favorite Zoe.
Like, who is the king? Who is? Why are you sunding that, man?
Yeah, hold on. Wait a second.
Wait a second.
I didn't. Hold on. Wait a second.
Why are you always trying to start something? See, look at this.
That's a valid question, though.
He's an instigator.
Why can't you be the king?
This man named himself the Prince of New Jersey. You want to tell me
when everybody was calling Will Smith Prince of Bel-Air, I ain't hear that question not one time.
Not one time.
Don't bring that to me. Don't bring that to me.
Oh, all right.
Jersey's
Oh, wow. Okay.
What's up, y'all? You can follow me at AL_Didier. And like Paul said, hit that follow button. We're trying to get our followers up.
Facts on everything. Literally,
I was talking about mostly for, Soapbox, but yeah, everything.
Everything. And last but not least, we got, Nomad.
Who is this?
Nomad?
Is this Nomad? I don't see Nomad here.
I don't see him either. I see a meme.
You hear me, though?
I see a meme.
You call this man a meme?
It's all right. Wait,
hold on. You just called it a meme.
Considers my opinion a joke.
This is a real person.
You see how,
wait a second. This is a real person. You just called him a meme.
Wait. Say that louder. Say that louder. He said that's a fact.
This is a real person, and he just
real
called
feelings.
Him, yes. Real occupations. Real life. And you just called him. You didn't say the picture of this man in a meme. You said, this is a meme. He is a meme. Nah, man. And for those listening on SoundCloud and Spotify or wherever else, Apple Podcasts, to know what we're talking about, you got to watch us on YouTube.
So go check it out on YouTube too. Get those listen. Get those numbers up. All right, get those numbers up. And Nomad, introduce yourself.
I respect all those. I respect all my brothers. My name is Nomad. You can follow me at Loki_JD.
That man sounded like Kyrie for a second.
It's because we're connected. He's another brother. So, man.
All right, bro.
We'll talk about it, man. I mess with Kyrie, man.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
we're gonna talk about Kyrie.
Yeah, I know you do.
And he's gonna be a topic of conversation along with James Harden and our reactions to was a game 10 games into this NBA season.
A little more.
A little bit more than 10 games.
Like 11,
all right, so we're gonna talk about our reactions to the season, how things have panned out thus far, and how we see it going later. But the news of the week, the news of the hour. Well, I think he makes his debut tomorrow. But James Harden.
We are recording this Friday, January 15th, by the way.
Yeah.
Almost Saturday, January 16th, given the time of day. But
they got to know everything about our whereabouts. The time.
This man works for the government.
Knows our governments.
Chill.
That's why he's always saying our governments.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill.
Spreading information.
But James Harden is a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Let's go Nets. You know, this is some kind of service. I got to tell you, I've been a Nets fan for the entirety of 5 months. And in that time,
that sounds crazy.
And in that time,
you're a fan of nobody.
This is disgusting. You're a fan of nobody.
They have hand delivered me.
PRR 1995. Whoever you want to be called. Can we take a stand? Can we take a stand right now? Can we take a stand right now? This is for Nets fans worldwide. But do not be fooled. This man is not a Nets fan. And
yes, I am.
Not allow this man to infiltrate your team. We've seen a lot of infiltration, right? Mm-hmm. Do not allow this man to infiltrate your team and claim to be something. Do not allow it, Nets fans.
No.
I've seen people in the Barclays Center since 2013. They were going to see Joe Johnson. If you're a Nets fan, answer me this: is Kurucs on that team?
Yes.
Did he play last game?
Did he play last game?
Yes.
What do you mean? Did he play last game?
Exactly that.
When is the last time you watched Nets basketball?
Last week, because I've been kind of busy this week.
Did he play?
You put it all being busy. Oh, all right.
Now, I've been crazy busy.
Kurucs. Did he play?
Yes.
When?
Last
what
game.
Did he drop?
What year was Darren?
Points.
Okay, all right.
What year was Darren? What's his name?
Who?
Darren Williams.
Darren Williams.
No. Harris.
What about
Devin Harris?
Devin Harris.
That's a fact.
What year did he join the New Jersey Nets?
I have no idea.
Tight, man.
I have no idea. I've been a Brooklyn Nets fan for the entirety of 5 months.
Who is terrified to go against Mirza Teletovic?
They don't know about. He doesn't know about that.
I have no idea.
He doesn't know about these guys.
That man Mirza Teletovic used to talk about him fighting grenades. He used to say that. He said that LeBron was no challenge to him.
Nets fan, and you know what? I'm going to say that for all the kids out there.
Mirza Teletovic.
Wait. Let's hear the lesson this man's trying to give to the youth.
Listen, if LeBron James has taught us anything in this era, it's that mobility is key. If your team isn't serving for you, if your team is not serving you the way you want to be served, if you listen, you're a fan. You're a hard.
Why did LeBron go back to the Cavs?
Money to support a team, and they owe you results. They really do. If they're not making the results for you, you got to leave.
Why did LeBron go back to the Cavs?
I got my marching orders from. I got them from Stephen A.
Wait.
So,
I've heard this mentality elsewhere.
Y'all can't bring Kyrie. Knicks fans. He said it directly to Knicks fans. So Paul, this includes you.
Why did LeBron go back to the Cavs? You're gonna be tight. Why did LeBron go back to the Cavs?
Because he wanted to do something there that he's never done before. That's never
why.
Why? Because he's a clout chaser. I'm kidding.
He called LeBron the cloud chaser. Just call LeBron James a cloud chaser.
Casual.
You are a professional casual.
Yeah,
professional casual.
Yeah. This is what this man just suggested. All right, just follow a team.
Hop around
until it no longer serves you. Until it no longer serves you. When you run them dry and they no longer entertain you.
It's not like I went to a different I went
to another team.
Countries to the Clippers or something. I'm doing the.
Oh my god!
I'm doing the other New York team.
Oh no!
Where did you come from?
Where did I come from? My
who was your previous team?
So this makes sense.
No, but who was your previous team? If you were not traveling coast,
the Knicks.
That's not true.
That is true.
You are a Rockets fan, and we have the podcast.
My secondary team, as I said before.
Wait, didn't this man say he was a Wizards fan on the same podcast?
God, a Wizards fan, a Knicks fan, a Rockets fan. Which coast are you on? Are you even on a coast?
I'm on all the coasts. I stand by. The Brooklyn Nets are my primary team, and the Nets,
the Wizards
are my secondary team because that's where Russell Westbrook is. And what I would really like is somehow.
What do you like about the Nets?
What do I like about the Nets?
What draws you to that name?
They're the other New York team. That's the only reason I.
You might as well be a Lakers fan.
But you were already a Knicks fan, so why?
You might as well just be a Lakers fan.
Why are you now a Nets fan?
The Lakers are going to beat the Lakers. The Lakers are going to be in. Look, if the Nets even get
because this is important. Because we're
going to the Lakers are going to beat the Nets anyway. So just be a Lakers fan.
But we're going to see this with a lot of people. The Nets are going to beat
the Lakers.
We're going to see. We're going to see a lot of people become Nets fans. So I want to know what is drawing you to this team.
I needed a New York team that could get it done. And actually cared about what fans said. You got James Dolan out here banning fans.
Why do you need a New York team?
Why do I need it? Where do I live?
Yeah. Hey, you are a Rockets fan living in
as my secondary team. No.
What does that mean, secondary team?
No, because now you guys are changing the narrative.
You're an NBA fan.
I told you where Russell Westbrook goes is always going to be my secondary team. So Oklahoma City was my secondary team. The Rockets were my secondary team. And now the Wizards are my secondary team because I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. But my team was previously the Knicks.
And then what happened?
You even watching
I got tired of them.
You even watching
tired of them.
You even watching Knicks.
Yes, I did.
You even watching Knicks.
So you got tired of them.
You were really a Knicks fan. You weren't a Knicks fan. You're not a Nets fan. You're
tired of them. And now the Nets.
So
something about the Nets it's inspiring. It's inspiring.
If Russell Westbrook went to the Clippers, he would be a Clippers fan, Josh.
That's a fact.
My gosh.
As my secondary team. Wherever Russ goes is my secondary team.
That's ridiculous.
That's not ridiculous. I want to see my favorite player succeed.
No, that's fine. You could be a Westbrook. Nobody says anything about the Westbrook stuff. You saying that you're a Nets fan is egregious.
That's fine. I don't care if you think. The thing is, I don't care. I don't care if you find it egregious.
Your heart doesn't.
We know.
Your heart will allow you to be a Nets fan.
But my heart is in Brooklyn right now with the Nets. Let's go Nets.
Your heart is in Queens.
It's disrespectful because people have watched the Nets struggle.
That's fine.
And now and if they win the chip this year, they've watched them struggle, have terrible seasons, have seasons worse.
Wait, hold on, wait a second, Josh. Hey, many of those. Nobody talks about those. Anyway, Allan, how do you feel about as the native New Jersey person holding it down? How do you feel about this man Andre claiming to be a Nets fan right now?
It's crazy, man.
I find it hilarious, man.
Good, man.
It's jokes. It's jokes. He takes it for a joke, Andre.
Allan Anderson, man. Come on, man.
Allan, that's bring back all the old names.
Allan Anderson. Come on.
I know the Nets, man. I know the Nets players. Come on.
We know, Josh. We know the Nets players better than Andre.
Man, Barclays Center was the spot, man. We go to section 272. Right, because the tickets were $10. They were $10. You would go to any Nets game. I would go and see the Clippers. I saw the Nets play the Clippers, the Pistons, the Knicks, the Mavs, half the league, man, for maybe less than $100 each time.
Collectively.
All
right, let's get into the actual basketball.
All I have to say is
Jared Wallace.
Good job getting James Harden, guys.
Marshawn Brooks.
What do they know about Marshawn Brooks?
Listen, man,
Marshawn Brooks. 2K12 legend.
New Jersey.
From New Jersey too?
Yep.
He is. Wow.
He was born in London.
That man's a legend. Marshawn Brooks. Where is
Andre Karolinko, man.
He's in China.
Andre Karolinko.
Oh man.
Best Russian player.
Following Marbury's footsteps.
Man, you know what? You know what? You know who I better not see saying nothing about the Nets?
Who?
Jay-Z. That man abandoned the Nets. Blaming the Nets.
Jay-Z is responsible for the movement out of New Jersey, and then he just up and left. Like
he just
years
dubbed
after that.
Mm-hmm. He was going to Nets. He was in the games. He used to be sitting on the sidelines.
It's because he wanted to own like agency. He turned.
Man.
He went to agency. He kind of owned it. I'm tight.
That's a fact. He has ownership.
That's crazy.
Oh my god!
Shouts to him for bringing him to Brooklyn.
I remember there was a game LeBron was doing some nonsense. He was doing some dribble moves because Beyonce was watching. That he's not even capable of doing. Nah, you'll run the tape. You'll run the tape.
Gone too far.
I bet you'll find that video though. I bet you'll find that video, and that will be in this promo.
Wait, is that the video where he's dribbling like mad hard?
Enjoy.
Is it the one where he's dribbling mad hard? Or
yes. Yeah. He does like a spin around back. Cross, fillet.
Tween. All right, let's get to the actual.
Too many people are doing that
James
now.
Harden is no longer a member of the Houston Rockets. He was exhibiting what some might call toxic. To him, he thinks he wasn't disrespectful to anyone in the organization. His exact words were, "I wasn't disrespectful," and then he changed to, "I didn't intend."
Can we keep this unbiased? Let's just, let's allow people to feel how they feel, and not call the man toxic.
I didn't say he was toxic. I said some might say he's toxic. I can't say he's toxic. He's a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Let's go Nets. But
let's go Nets. Let's go Wizards. Let's go Bulls. Let's go Celtics.
It's a fact.
Let's go.
Let's go NBA.
Let's go NBA.
Let's go basketball.
Actually, there's one team I would say.
You should say you should be a Team USA fan, man.
Nets.
You should just say, "I'm a Team USA fan." That's what I am.
That's a fact. That'll be the only team he could be committed to. That's the only team he could be committed to. They not going anywhere.
You only watch them every few years.
Man.
Tell me what the Knicks have given me. Tell me what the Knicks have given me to earn my loyalty.
This got nothing to do with the Knicks.
Haven't given you anything.
This got nothing to do with the Knicks.
They gave me James Harden.
No, but you haven't even seen him play.
The Knicks gave you Carmelo Anthony. You haven't even seen him left. The Knicks gave you Joe Johnson.
Did I leave?
Paul Pierce.
Yes.
Brooke Lopez. Darren Williams dropping 50-something. And they want nothing. That is, and they did nothing.
They did nothing.
So when they do nothing for you, you're gonna come back to the Knicks?
He's gonna go.
You're gonna go to another team?
No, that's a great.
You're gonna go to another team? This is to the youth out there. To the youth out there. God, listen, loyalty matters. Am I saying to take whatever is thrown at you? Wait a second. Am I saying to take whatever is thrown at you? No. But if you're gonna commit. If you're gonna commit. Don't be flakes like our moderator and Max Kellerman. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you're gonna commit,
wait.
If you're gonna commit,
Kellerman was 30 years though. Max Kellerman was like 30 years.
That is a fact. He put the work in.
And then please, man, get out of here.
Kids, let me tell you something.
Get out of here. Because then when you look at the camera and then tell two superstars not to go to the Knicks,
been abusing the Knicks organization for the last 20 some odd years. Do not stay in abusive relationships. Love does not look like that. Okay, you gotta love your actual organization. You gotta love the fans. He doesn't love fans, man. That's what love looks like.
Listen. I don't blame people for not being fans of the Knicks. There are more Lakers fans.
I'll tell you what
in New York than Nets fans.
Honestly, I'll tell you.
And the Nets are in Brooklyn. I don't listen. That's fine, but
get me so tight, man. I don't even deserve the Nets.
Send that. Listen, send them to New Jersey. Send them to New Jersey. I'm not mad.
I'll tell you this.
I like the jerseys out there too.
Claiming that.
I'll tell you this: if James Dolan sold the team today to a better owner, I'd be a Knicks fan again.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
That wouldn't guarantee anything.
That wouldn't guarantee a thing. This is as a Knicks.
The Clippers. Let's save all this for later. The Clippers. Wait. The Clippers got sold to Steve Ballmer and have had the exact same results as Donald Sterling.
I'm saying.
Are we going to pretend that James Dolan is not the worst owner in sports?
James Dolan doesn't play basketball.
He literally stopped them from getting KD and Kyrie.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Listen.
Let me hear this.
You know how many players went to go play on the Clippers with a blatant racist as an owner?
That's not okay. Do you know how many players that blatantly said, "I will not play for this team while James Dolan is here," including LeBron?
Not a lot. Not a lot. No, not a lot. Listen, basketball. First of all, in a mobile league, in a league where you claim there's a lot of all this mobility, right?
There's a lot of mobility,
right? In a mobile league, people aren't looking at destinations as their final destination for the rest of their career. No, I don't see anybody that's doing that. Number one, number two.
He's looking at
LeBron went to the Cavs, won a chip, and then went to the Lakers.
That's a fact.
What are you talking about? No, that's not true.
Looking at the Lakers as his final destination.
No, that's not a real destination for him.
That's his fourth stop.
That's his no. That's not the same.
That's his third stop.
It's his final destination because he's gonna retire after.
Home.
He's old. That's why he's his final destination. Number one. Number two. Players want to go to good teams.
That's a fact.
So listen. James Dolan was able to put together a good team for a short minute, but it was for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't play the games. If we had Donald Sterling as the owner, but we had LeBron, KD, Kyrie, and all these guys that happen to be on the team already, players are gonna come because players go to where they feel are the best teams. That's what it is.
Think it has?
They went. Kyrie Irving decided. Kyrie Irving.
I will not go to the Knicks because of James Dolan. You don't think other players are listening to that? You don't think other players are saying if LeBron's not going to go there, why the hell should I?
Kawhi didn't go to the Lakers just because LeBron was over there.
That's Kawhi. That's his rival.
No. He's an all-star. He's an all-star. Dwayne Wade was Kawhi. Dwayne Wade was LeBron's rival at one point too, right?
No, he was. That's his boy from the jump. Come on.
That's not his rival.
That's not his.
That
rival.
was his rival before they were.
People forget. Tell him, man. People forget.
Wade and LeBron were like the top competition. They were going against each other.
You won a whole chip before LeBron. They were
boys the whole time. Kawhi's not a boy like that. Like he's not like they're not like frenemies. Like this is straight his rival from the jump, which is a different.
So players only play with their friends, not who they believe could win them chips.
Say it again.
Players only play with their friends, not who they believe can help win them chips.
It's both.
It's both, exactly. But if somebody sees somebody that's not necessarily their best friend, they're gonna go over there and make that business move and try and win with that person.
They wouldn't be able to afford both of them. Number one and number two, he's not going to try.
Wait a second, is that true?
Yes.
Wait, who are we talking about? Is that the Lakers?
Kawhi, you remember when Kawhi almost went to the Lakers? He could. Yeah. Go ahead, Alan.
No, he could have went to both.
Yeah. I think
they could have afforded both.
They were moving contracts around for him.
They had cap space.
And the year before that, they were trying to get Paul George. Which is funny.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
People gas this James Dolan thing. Listen, James Dolan isn't the best owner, but James Dolan doesn't play on the court. He does. Again, I will always go back to Donald Sterling.
You're blaming the players. This is the players' fault.
I am blaming Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson doesn't.
I'm blaming Phil. Let me tell you what. Listen. When we had, let me tell you. All right, hold on. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
And be like, what the hell?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Real Knicks fans know where I'm going with this. Listen.
No.
James Dolan. Oh, so you're a real Knicks fan?
Not anymore.
Okay. Phil Jackson.
Where were you?
That's a good question. Listen, James Dolan, right? As the owner, got Amari, got Carmelo. Mm-hmm. We drafted Porzingis. Well, that was Phil Jackson. We've had players, right? Now, I think our biggest problem is as a city, our lack of patience. Because anytime we have a down season, we want to throw everything away and just restart over, and that's that.
Is that the city or is that the organization? Because the organization also
it's both. It's both. The city puts the pressure on the organization.
Oh, come on.
What you mean? Oh, come on.
This is the greatest city in the world.
No, but I'm saying consistency is what helps you win in the NBA. This is why the Lakers look so far ahead of everybody. Because they're consistent. It's not just because they have LeBron. They look like they have better chemistry this year. Because their core stayed together. Even Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who's not necessarily a core player, is still there. So that chemistry is only going to grow with him.
Is he obligated to be there?
Hold on.
No, but I'm saying he's there. So that chemistry.
What are you talking about? They lost many of their core players. Rondo, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee.
Rondo was not a core player.
He's not a core player?
No.
So he wasn't the best player off the bench for them. He wasn't there. Come on.
He was one of the better players, but he wasn't the best player.
If you think KCP is a core player, you gotta think Rondo is.
No, I said he's not, and he's even there. I said he's not.
By your standard, the only core players they have are LeBron and AD. Everybody else is just auxiliary.
Well.
That's a very.
But I'm saying some. But I'm saying
they're trying to move.
Their whole core is there. That doesn't make any sense.
But I'm saying even some guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is still there, and then a guy like Taylor Horton Tucker who got no minutes and got better and knows the system is there now. So their chemistry got tighter.
Those people they won with
last. Some great young players, and they got some great 6-man pieces, and they got some great people that are going to put together a team. They got players that are complementary to LeBron, and that's why they look so good.
But those people more than that, had last year, who they won with, were LeBron has a thing where he uses the LeBron has a strategy where he uses veteran role players, like a JaVale McGee or a Dwight Howard or a Rondo, and they will fulfill a specific role. Like JaVale McGee is just
small roles,
energy, and that is just like an auxiliary. He's not really a core player, but he's core to what LeBron is trying to do.
Who's the core player of the Lakers besides Anthony
LeBron
James?
I don't know what to say to you. It's those.
That's it.
What I'm saying
makes no sense because that would mean any team that retains one or two of the.
But no, but that's not.
No. But listen, that's not how the Lakers run.
I see what Josh is saying.
What I'm saying is
very
specific to LeBron. Exactly, it's
very specific to LeBron
because he has this strategy. He did it in Miami too, and then he did it again.
That's not I'm sorry, but that's not attributable to the Lakers. That's attributable to LeBron.
But he is on the Lakers.
But that's not Paul's argument. Paul's saying the Lakers as an organization are consistent.
No. Wait, I'm saying
your words.
I'm saying. Well, first of all, LeBron is on the Lakers organization, number one, and number two, I'm saying that from last year to this year, LeBron hasn't been there that long, so I can't make a grand statement about the Lakers organization.
You said the Lakers.
I'm not talking about the whole list.
Are you saying the Lakers or are you saying LeBron? Which one?
I'm saying the Lakers right now. With LeBron James, they had their core is together, and even a guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who isn't really their core, but they saw helped him a lot, is still there. So their chemistry is only going to grow. I remember, go back to my original point though. The Knicks in 2012, 2013 won 54 games. They were 54-28. They were number 2 in the East, and they were better than the Nets. The Nets were like number 3. The Knicks were number 2. We went up against the Pacers. Everybody was injured. J.R. Smith, Carmelo, a lot of these guys had to get procedures. Tyson Chandler, Amari was the healthiest player, and that's because he was just coming back from injury, right? We lose to the Pacers. The next year, right? I don't know what happened, but we end up just lollygagging or whatever throughout the whole season until the month of April, where we went 17-3. But it was too late, and we barely missed the playoffs because one of those 3 games was like the last 2 games of the season, and the Hawks beat us out for the 8th seed. The very next year, right, we get Phil Jackson, and it's a wrap. Phil Jackson instituted an offense that no team in the league can really run anymore because these guys are familiar with that type of offense.
What offense is that?
The triangle. He tried to institute the triangle. It did not work. We give J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert 2 key pieces to what we were doing to the Cavaliers for free, basically. Right?
That was a very bad move.
That was a bad move. That was a bad move.
Bad shot.
That was a bad move. The next year, we get another roster again. Right? Same stuff, still a triangle, not working. Now, this is 2 years at the end of Carmelo Anthony's prime. He was still in his prime, but it was about to end. I think the next year, he's out. We wasted 3 years of Carmelo Anthony's prime. I think we still had Phil Jackson with Kristaps as our lead guy, still trying to throw the triangle. Doesn't work. Phil Jackson leaves. Kristaps is there. Now we have to start over again. We started over like 3 times in my.
You know this is sounding.
This is a lack of consistency. It's a lack of consistency.
Leadership.
And Phil Jackson
from the top down.
But I will say, who hired Phil Jackson?
James Dolan hired Phil Jackson. A lot of people would have hired Phil Jackson.
Go. Boom! There he got.
But who made the decisions on the court? That's what I'm saying. James Dolan doesn't play ball
on the court. It's the decisions from the top.
How the game is played on the court?
The game is playing. Okay, but the players in the court are not trading themselves. Carmelo isn't.
James Dolan isn't trading them. That's what I'm trying to say. As a Knicks, I'm a Knicks fan. Wait, hold on. Let me say this quick, Alan. Let me say this quick. Last sentence. As a Knicks fan, I know bare Knicks fans that keep saying we got to get rid of this guy. We got to trade this guy, and the Knicks actually do it. That's a lack of consistency. The best teams always have consistency, and we don't have that.
When I say get rid of James Dolan, I mean not just him, his whole team. The whole organization is rotten from the core.
Scott Perry's doing a good job. You can't say
Scott Perry's doing a good job.
Yes.
Scott Perry's doing okay.
We won a 3-game winning streak. That we didn't go on a 3-game winning streak. For the first, say you a Nets fan, so you don't. I don't know what you're talking about. The bar is low, but it's a low bar. We're trying to come back for nothing. And for the pat under the field, in the field
winning streak,
in the field, the bar is low. I'm being real about the Knicks. The bar is low, but in the Phil Jackson era, we started over and over and over again, wasting years. So we need the role to.
Who brought these people in? James Dolan.
Who brought in the players? Phil Jackson.
But with James Dolan say so.
What do you mean with James Dolan say so? James Dolan gave
that was my question. Is it not true that James Dolan used to be very hands-on in the basketball stuff?
Not with Phil Jackson. That's what I'm saying. James Dolan, Phil Jackson only agreed. No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
Hands-on.
Phil Jackson said he was not coming to the Knicks unless he could do whatever he wanted.
Oh well,
but he did whatever he wanted. That's what I'm trying to say.
But James Dolan,
what are you talking about?
And hired him. I don't think. I think that there's a responsibility that James Dolan has in the same way that I've been seeing people talk about Steve Ballmer and Doc Rivers. How Doc Rivers was the president of basketball operations, and when he was responsible for the collapse and everything like that. I see a lot of conflicting arguments within Clippers fans because a lot of them blame Doc, and then a lot of them are looking at the players as the reasons for the collapses. But I think at the end of the day, what I'm seeing with this sort of ownership, or at least what I saw of the Clippers, is that the Doc experiment, they were keeping him. Ballmer kept him for a long time, and it went on for too long. He kept him for too long.
What does that have to do with the Knicks?
I'm getting to the point right now. I'm talking about how ownership. Yeah, I'm talking about how ownership can influence a team's success, right? Ballmer had Doc for way too long, and I think that was a poor ownership decision, and it affected the team's success because of his hire, the team could only reach a certain ceiling. It was coming from the top. Yes. I think so.
You think Doc Rivers held that back?
I think with a different person leading the ship with that talent that Lob City had, they would have beaten Houston. I don't think he should have ever been the president of basketball operations. And in fact, when he stepped down from that role and just started becoming a coach, and they put Lawrence Frank in there, the team was a better managed because he wasn't doing everything. I don't ever think a coach should be the president of basketball operations and the coach.
Well, that I feel that's a personal thing because even after him, that happened with Stan Van Gundy on the Pistons.
That's what happened with Tibbs in Minnesota.
That's true.
Yeah, so that could be a personal thing with you. Well, I mean, that's how you feel. I don't think that's necessarily
I mean, it can work. It depends. I think it depends on the quality of leadership, really, because if you have a good leader, then it will work. But a lot of these people that you brought up are from different eras of basketball too. And if you have all of this, they can make for good coaches, someone like Stan Van Gundy. He may always make for a good coach, but he may not always have the same eye for management and recruiting and scouting, things of that nature.
I think nobody's perfect, and everybody needs a check on them. So that's what, LeBron needed Ty Lue.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? General managers.
Some people are going to hear that and say you're wild.
I disagree. I mean, I disagree.
Some
because
people say that Tyronn Lue had no power over LeBron.
But that's just not true because Ty Lue's one of the few coaches that was allowed to even get in his face.
That's true.
That can't even be denied. So something like that. I feel like people need checks, and I think going to the Nets. I don't know if you want to be done talking about the Knicks, but going to the Nets, I feel that's their problem.
Listen, here's what I want to see. Even though I'm not a Knicks fan anymore, I like the fact that they're playing pretty well. They're 9th seed right now. I hope it continues. But they're
not playing well right now.
They're not playing well right now. They're not. They just lost. I think they just lost to the Cavs, right?
They lost 5 games in a row. Before that, they won 3 games in a row.
This isn't a good look.
It's not a good look.
They need a piece. But my thing with the Knicks, and one of the reasons why I left as a fan, and this is going to bring me to James Harden, I never see them in any talks ever, to get anybody. There's substantial talent out there. You never hear the Knicks go. You never hear the Knicks in the mix to get James Harden. You didn't hear that at all. You didn't hear that.
It was KD, Kyrie.
Huh?
It was KD and Kyrie.
The only reason KD went to the Nets is because of Kyrie. Mm-hmm. KD followed Kyrie. I can't hear you.
I think you hear me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think the media hyped it up. KD going to the Knicks.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he looked. He said himself. He said he don't know where it came from. He never even looked at them. I'm starting to believe that.
I don't know because the Kyrie Irving ran the Nets when he was playing. I don't know where this man is right now. But when that man was still a basketball player, he took more shots than KD. He handled the ball more than KD. He was talking a lot. He's the one that said they don't need a coach. Listen, I don't know. I think people might be shocked when they see James Harden be the third option, and Kyrie be the first. Who knows?
Kyrie be the first. Come on.
Kyrie was taking more shots at KD when he was playing.
That doesn't make him the first option. That just means
he was a ball handler and he was taking more shots.
What do you mean? And I'll say
ball handler and taking more shots.
Going to James Harden now. With all these teams when it happens, and I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. You got a team like the Nets that are formed together. You got KD, Kyrie, and Harden. You got to have that conversation so this doesn't happen. Kyrie should not be the number 1 option on this team, and he shouldn't be the number 2 option either. I'd be very comfortable in this offense with Harden potentially as the number 1, KD as the number 2, and Kyrie as the number 3. However, the most efficient option will be
tight. You're going to be tight.
I'm probably, you know what? I don't know yet.
You're gonna be tight. This is not gonna work.
The way I see it, KD and Harden, number 1 and number 2, and they should either stifle Harden's minutes or stifle Kyrie's minutes so that they can violate whoever's bench they're going against. That is the way that this team is going to run the best.
Do you think that players have?
I think that's going to be their biggest. I think their biggest fault is going to be that they have no interior defense, so they really need to
DeAndre Jordan doesn't exist.
DeAndre Jordan's. Yeah, but he can't play
48 minutes a game.
KD's not a top-notch defender anymore? He's
not. I said interior defense.
He's not a 5.
You're going to make him play against
That's risky.
He's going to injure himself.
He's going to play the 4.
He's going to get injured.
It's not just the defense, but rebounding too.
He's going to get and he has to do the scoring on the other end.
And let's talk about the guards.
But you're saying it like this isn't something he hasn't done his whole career. KD has always been a guy that gets.
But this is not the same. This is KD coming off of a huge injury.
I get
Westbrook got 10 rebounds as a point guard. That's different than getting 10 rebounds as a center because you got to do more work to get the rebound as a center.
That's true.
You're boxing people up. Yeah,
battle down there.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to slip in. Obviously that's going to be an area that they're going to have to shore up as a team. DeAndre Jordan's going to have to do more. Who else is even there? Jeff Green, I guess, is going to have to do more with that off the glass, I should say, off the boards. It's going to be a work in progress, but it's not like James Harden doesn't get rebounds. It's not like KD doesn't get rebounds. Interior defense, I'll give you, that's going to be tough for them. But also, if this team works well, you're going to be seeing one of the most spectacle shooting displays since the Golden State Warriors, or even before that. This team is literally going to they will literally destroy the morale of any team they go up against, barring the Lakers.
If they work, yes.
If they work, they're going to just violate every team. So factors like that. I mean, if you looked at the Warriors when they were at their helm, there were many games they got away with where they were not playing the best on those areas, but because they were just violating you with KD and Kyrie and Clay, you literally forgot about it. It didn't matter. And that's something similar to what's going to happen with the Nets now.
People are forgetting. I know people are worried about things not working, but people are forgetting that Steve Nash, was working with the Golden State Warriors at the time when they were winning all the championships.
Already has chemistry with KD.
You can he could implement that. Obviously, Harden or Kyrie is not obviously not,
but
Steph Curry and Clay, but like, you could implement some of the same stuff.
But this coaching staff is more Phoenix Suns at Golden State though. D'Antoni, Amari.
It is, but like if I'm Steve Nash and like I'm the head coach, I'm the one making decisions, telling them everything. These are all good basketball.
Right.
Huh?
Oh, he's the one making decisions.
Chill.
I'm so serious. But all right, at the
end of the day, it's his team. He gotta be the one making decisions. He can't have D'Antoni out here making decisions.
Or Kyrie Irving.
Or Kyrie Irving. No, but I see James Harden fitting well with this team. If potentially fitting well with this team. I don't know how well it goes. I really don't. I think at their best, they own the East for the next 5 years.
At their best, they're winning chips.
Maybe not 5 years. 5
years.
You
said the best.
At their best.
They're doing more than winning the East at their best.
They're winning championships. Yeah. At their best, they're owning the NBA for at least 3 years.
I think the Nets gave up too much.
That's a fact.
They gave up a lot.
The Nets depleted their entire bench and they violated Karis LeVert.
That's a fact.
They did violate Karis LeVert. I didn't like
reason.
And Jared Allen. I'm gonna go in with it's my turn.
No, that's a fact. Jared Allen should not have been.
I'm mad at him. We cannot I think that's I think it's reasonable to say that at their best they will win it all. But I want to see these people play together because that bench, Karis LeVert, is nice. Mm-hmm. And it is a solid foundation of that piece. And Jared Allen, like in the way that Steph has gravity, Jared Allen has anti-gravity, I guess, in terms of people do not want to go into the paint.
Nowhere near him.
Right. Jared Allen is low-key better than DeAndre Jordan. I'm just going to say.
That is not even low-key. It's a fact. It's high-key.
Really
high-key better.
All right.
I'm going to say this. Though I hope for the Nets that they do well with this and it's at their best and they win championships, and I really hope that happens. I'm going to go out and say it because nobody else is saying this trade didn't need to happen.
It didn't.
This trade
really didn't.
This is what's
I really thought the Nets had the best chance, or they had the best chance to beat the Lakers.
It's very similar, in my opinion, to the mentality of the Los Angeles Clippers signing Kawhi and Paul George.
Yep. I'm telling you, this is
now.
Giving it all. I want to see it work. I really want to see it work, but this didn't have to happen. James Harden would have fit way better on the Philadelphia 76ers. Way better.
I think so. Too. That's what I thought. That's where he was going to go.
It would have made more. Not if they traded Ben Simmons. That wouldn't have that for the future of the franchise. No.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I know Embiid is injury prone, but he still is young.
Honestly, they would have if he went to the 76ers, they would kind of have a similar thing to the Lakers, except he's not as big as LeBron, but
he's close.
In terms of he's close, and in terms of the style of play, there's two stars would be him and Embiid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Listen,
Doc Rivers would have done the heck out of that pick and roll between.
That would have just been a Lob City.
That's a dangerous pick and roll.
All over
pick and roll five times a possession.
Listen, man.
Instead, Joel Embiid is dribbling all over the place.
I don't know what Philadelphia's front office is doing, but I really thought
Daryl Morey.
That's a fact.
Back when LeBron was considering going to the Lakers or going anywhere else, I actually said he should have gone to Philly. And
that had nothing to do with Philly. That was all LeBron's choice.
That's all LeBron's. What about now? What about now? Because now Philly is again, potential all-star that will take them to the promised land, and they can't sign him. I'm glad in a sense that James Harden's on the Nets. I think it's going to be very interesting. And like I said, at their best, they're winning championships for the next 3 years. This trade did not need to happen.
Listen,
I think Philly would have screwed with their team dynamic if they traded for Harden. Because if it didn't
they don't have a team dynamic right now, or they haven't had one.
They're pretty unstoppable right now, but
right now they're
impressive. They're impressive this year.
I still don't believe in them though.
He is an MVP candidate or something.
Yeah, Embiid right now is the leading candidate for NBA MVP.
Is he? I thought it was LeBron.
Yeah, they just say that because it's LeBron. Like it's not LeBron. It's not.
I mean, LeBron is the best player on the best team in the NBA right now. So why is it not LeBron?
Because he's not playing the the best. Like Embiid is actually playing the best. And you could say that LeBron is the best player on the best team, but how much better are they than the Sixers right now? Like I know the Lakers will watch the Sixers, but that's because
100%.
That's because
76ers are number 3 in the East. The Lakers are number 1 in the West.
But in the regular season, as far as dominating the league, the Sixers are dominating the league just as much as the Lakers, if not a little bit less, but just by a little bit.
The Lakers are about to be 11-3, while the 76ers are 9-4.
Yeah, that's not that far off.
They're starting to stretch their legs a little bit.
That's not that
76ers are more akin to the Clippers right now, but I wanted to pull up the numbers just so you could see. Keep talking. I want to see.
All right, listen. Let me tell you why the Nets are not going to win the championship, and why I'm not worried about the Nets taking over the city.
Hater.
Listen, I'm a hater. All right, let me tell you some real reasons. All right. Number one, I believe that what they're trying to do is what Harden tried to do in Houston.
I'm sorry, y'all are gassing Joel Embiid. This is not that dissimilar from what I'm seeing him do in years past. 25-11 is what he should be doing.
Okay, but come on, man. Like,
come on, man. Like,
you sound like Shaq.
No, he's not. Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact. Just move on.
Because don't everyone trips over last year. Last year it was like an off year for him, where he was 23-10. This isn't that huge of an improvement. The way y'all made it sound, I thought he was at like 30-14 or something.
The team is running
it's the way they've been winning games. He's been dominating and making very
dropping 45 game winners.
Yeah.
Putting the ball on the floor.
His defense, he's been doing very good things and leading the team to wins this year.
And the Sixers, yeah, exactly. That's the next thing too.
Leading to wins. It's a fact.
The winning, they're winning a lot. I mean, I guess the Lakers are winning a little more, but
talking about leadership,
man. Anyway, listen, man.
Leadership is what's going to take you wherever you need to go.
And Kyrie Irving is not a good leader. Listen,
that's a fact.
Listen. And he's the leader of the Nets, and that's why they're not going to do anything. He is the leader of the Nets. KD is not the. I don't know. KD wasn't the leader of the Warriors.
No, that's true.
Because was he the leader of the Nets last year?
Yes.
I mean, clearly, yes. Yeah. Who else going to be the? Yeah.
I don't know because he only played 20 games.
I mean, he was there every game on the bench.
Just because KD wasn't the leader on Golden State does not mean he's not going to be the leader in Brooklyn.
But I don't think
KD ever even been a leader.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going. Listen. KD is just nice.
He's really nice. He defers to the point guard.
A lot.
Steph, Kyrie. Oh wow. Paul.
Yes, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has been the most vocal. When you watch him on the court, he makes all the decisions except for when KD's doing this isolation thing or where they're running KD off of a floppy player or something like that, setting him up for open shot. But he was taking the most shots before James Harden came in. He was talking the most. He made the decision against Steve Nash and then said they don't need a coach. He's not playing right now for personal reasons, and he didn't tell the team what the reasons were. Like, if you're gonna take personal reasons off, okay, but you communicate with the not just KD, but communicate with your coach. Kyrie Irving is running the New York Nets, and he's not a good leader.
I'm glad that you said the New York Nets.
He's running the New York Nets. Look at that.
Even in your heart, you know.
They were the New York Nets at one point.
You know
that, right? They were the New York Nets at one point. But anyway, back. Look,
Long Island.
Exactly. But back to the Nets now. On the court, this is why it won't work. James Harden is fat.
Wait,
I'm going there. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not holding back. I've been waiting a minute.
Hold on.
He's not fat? No, man. Is he fat? Yes or no?
Fast breaks does not fat shame.
That's a fact. That is a fact. But James Harden is fat. Listen. Kyrie Irving.
So you're saying it's okay that he's fat?
Not anymore. Wait. It was okay in the Rockets.
Wait.
It was. Let me tell you why.
You gotta drop that.
Russell Westbrook breaking the energy.
Listen. Let me tell you why. I'm talking about this year, not his whole career. I'm talking about this year. Right now, he's fat. But He's fat. I'm saying, listen, man. We seen the pictures, but look,
that's the commentator said. He definitely
had a pre-game meal.
And like that other guy said, chill.
Because he's fat and he's in the NBA.
That man is in the same city as you. You are going to talk about him like this. He's in your city right now.
But anyway, listen. All I'm saying is this, right? When you're not on the ball and you might not be touching the ball for periods of time, you can't just be in the court relaxing. Your energy has to listen. You have to put in a lot of energy now on defense. You have championship expectations, not even aspirations. You have championship expectations. You're going to have to play defense, and he's fat. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. He's not going to be able to play. He's not going to be able to move his feet quick enough and do that for over the course of a game because he's bigger. Whereas on the Rockets now, he could maybe take plays off on defense and all that because he'd be dropping 40 or whatever. Although they said he was dropping like less than 20 the last 4 games before he left, which is kind of.
Do you not think that's because he just wasn't trying? He was like trying to sabotage the own team.
I do believe that. I do believe that. But for the time being, I do believe that. But for the time being, it is what it is. He's fat right now because of that.
Harden,
it's going to take time for the fat to come off. I don't know how much time, but it's going to take. I'm seeing like
that man needs to run across the Brooklyn Bridge, back and forth, run into man,
dodging bikes,
Chelsea,
out there dodging people.
They go up to 125th, and then go back to Barclays, and you can't take any trains. Just run.
Man, listen, and then the next thing too is they're not defensive guys outside of KD, and now you have 2 guys that are. Karis LeVert played good defense, and then they lost. And then they lost depth.
Cool Rooks.
They did lose depth.
I think what I say, Prince,
and I think when I say I think they try to do what Harden did on the Rockets. They're all friends. They're all boys. They're all good old pals. So they decided we're nice. Let's come together and let's win this chip. It didn't work. It didn't work on the Rockets, right? Because just because you're nice doesn't mean that the play styles are going to work together, right? I see a similar thing happening on the Brooklyn Nets because you have 2 guys who are one-minded. Kyrie Irving, before James Harden went there, was taking more shots than Kevin Durant, right? When he was playing. They are one-minded. They're not 2, they're not 3-minded. They're one-minded, right? As far as like being the star, they're star player minded. They're not assistant player or like assistant role player or secondary star type of guys. Now, one of them is going to have to be a third type, like a 3.
Kyrie
I agree with you.
Guy under
like
LeBron.
That's not going to work. They got way too much egos.
I think
way
that
deservedly too. But I'm just saying it's
Harden's important. Like the fact that the Nets deplete their bench is going to hurt.
No bench
because Harden. And I said this to you a few days ago, Paul, about how I was talking about Harden and Westbrook and how they have a similar like dilemma.
Right.
I think that style of play that makes Harden so great, and it's crazy because Kobe and Tracy McGrady had an interview when Harden was on the Rockets, and Kobe said that
I remember
he was talking. He was Chris Paul was on that team, and he was talking about it because Chris Paul wasn't back, but he said that the system the Rockets have is going to allow Harden to put up great numbers.
He was getting like 50 a game at that point.
Yeah, he was dropping 50 every single night.
Yeah,
but it's never going to allow them to win a championship. It's never going to result in winning. And then he said their chances might be better when CP3 comes back, but him on his own is never going to.
He doesn't play winning basketball.
But I think that dilemma is either going to make them win the championship or prevent them, because it has been the thing that stopped him and Westbrook, but in different ways.
I think Kyrie is the one more than Harden.
All right.
Kyrie's got a ring, so this is on Harden. He's got to make the.
Think got something to prove. Too.
Wait.
What does Kyrie got to prove?
Wait, hold on, man.
Sorry.
Let me say. I think.
Go ahead.
What the difference here is, like, I'm trying to figure out like the best way to say this. It's not. I think it will work personally because I think obviously like y'all said, like the style of play, but like they just gotta change that. And I think they will. I think people forget like these NBA players, a lot of them will be willing to like if it comes down to winning. Well, if you think like a player is not about winning, then that's one thing. Like, but I haven't really seen that from all of them.
I don't think that either.
This is what I well, maybe I should explain.
But I think like personally, they all have like the required skill set to change their style of play. I think in Houston that was impossible because
I agree
because Russell Westbrook didn't have that skill set to change his play. But I think here you got 3 different guys who have like who could play basketball at a high level and have like the required skill sets to change their style of play. It's just a matter of them like just putting their mind to doing it. And I think at this point in their careers, they have like nothing to prove now.
Oh, really? I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I think, and I want to just say about.
I mean, nothing to prove besides winning championships. That's what I meant.
About the style of play that I was referring to. I think I agree with your point that they all have the talent and ability, but one thing that I didn't mention when I was saying before is that I think it's a decision because the comfort zone is something that affects people in every single. It affects in every single like industry, like any single field, the comfort zone. If you find success doing something, then you're going to get comfortable doing it. And I'd find Harden and Westbrook to be very comparable because you can literally look at them both from OKC on. It's a similar career outcome, just at different points in their career. Harden goes to the Rockets and he gets when he first went to the Rockets, he wasn't playing like how he does now. He got comfortable. He started playing like this and got comfortable doing it. And
I think that's only pushed him to do that. That's
they pushed him to playing like this, and then he got an MVP off of it. Yeah. And so why wouldn't he continue to do like it wasn't resulting in. I mean, it got a playoff. It got them the playoffs, but it wasn't resulting in a deep playoff run. But the same thing happened with Westbrook in OKC. He got MVPs off of the triple-double style of play, but it also didn't result. But they both are deciding to do those things.
I'm gonna say like this, right? The Nets have been disappointing. Even when Kyrie was healthy, they've been disappointing. They lost to like the Hornets or something. Like they were it was early. They're getting their chemistry. That's the next thing too. They didn't even fully get their chemistry as them two together, just KD and Kyrie. Now they're gonna add James Harden and the
I think that's better. I think if their chemistry was like already formed and then James Harden came in, that would be worse. Now they have an opportunity to really like form something here. This is a team this is a team where those 3 guys by themselves can have 90 points.
You see, okay, but that's the thing. Like they can, but that's not how basketball works. None of these guys are about to be Chris Bosh out here.
Well, the thing is,
like, they're not gonna do that.
The other thing is that you have to consider, and I heard Shannon Sharp and what's his name,
Bayless,
talking about this earlier. We've never seen this happen.
I'm here.
Honestly,
we've never seen 3 high-level scorers like this join forces.
Yeah.
Ever. Maybe 2. Maybe 2. And then another all-star that was like a mid-level scorer with another great attribute. But we've never seen 3. I mean, we're talking about 3 guys that are averaging 27 and up. Currently. James Harden, 26. Kyrie, 27. KD, 29.
Truthfully,
yes, but that's how basketball works.
We're making all these predictions. But these are MVP level guys. These are championships.
But that's not how basketball works.
I know that's not how basketball works.
One of them are not going to be able to play at an MVP level.
This trade is not how basketball works. We've never seen this happen.
We kind of have, though.
Have we? How?
Kind of have.
Who?
The Warriors, the Heat.
No.
We kind of see the Celtics to a lesser extent because they were different positions and different styles of play, so they complemented each other.
About 3 guys with the same kind of style
ball usage, I don't know.
Get their points almost exactly the same way.
But see, this is when I say that's not how basketball works. What I mean is none of them are going to be Chris Bosh out here. One of them is going to have to be Chris Bosh.
They need to go get Andre Drummond off the Cleveland Cavaliers.
They're not going to do that to get rid of Jarrett Allen. They already had.
That wouldn't resolve their problems.
That would. They would give it a big. And then honestly, if they got a big.
What they need to do is if they would trade Kyrie, what they should do is.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's a real conversation.
And Kyrie Irving has no trade value right now because he's not playing. Like,
because Harden can play point. I mean,
let's get Russ on the Nets. Let's go. That'll make
See, this is the thing. You believe too much in talent alone. Like that's not how basketball. Listen, if they go with a 2-game losing streak, right, and James Harden's only getting 10 shots a game, or Kyrie Irving or KD's only getting 10 shots a game, you think they're gonna be happy with that style of play?
No,
something's gonna change.
If they're losing, no.
If they're losing, and they were already losing,
that's a big assumption. That if they
but you're gonna lose. Wait, hold on. No matter, you're gonna lose games over especially when you're developing your chemistry. You're gonna lose games. Remember when LeBron went to Miami with D Wade that first year? They were like 20-20 the first 40 games or something like that. They were 500 for a minute. They were getting their chemistry.
But
now they're going to have to do that over when they didn't even do it before.
What Brooklyn and one thing with Brooklyn, and just because you're making this point right now, what I've seen from them as a franchise organizational perspective, they are very quick to move in the direction that they think is going to propel them to success.
Just like the Knicks.
The way they had deloading D'Angelo Russell, deloading that team was nice. That team had a nice foundation, and they may be closer to a championship now, but that team was building a foundation that may have also gotten to a championship. Like, from a business perspective, I understand. You have to, if you have this on the table and you have a chance to go get that, then it's very tempting to get all of these superstars.
Let me say this quick.
But
go ahead.
Go ahead. You can say if you got it quick.
Quick. Stephen A. said this, and it's facts. If the Nets don't win a championship, and if the Knicks don't get to the playoffs or get to the playoffs and lose in the first round or the play-in or whatever, who looks like they're in a better position?
The Knicks.
It's a risk. This is why you have to keep your foundation to stop clout chasing.
So?
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes,
because what I was going to let me continue.
They're going up. That's an upward trajectory. Whereas the Nets look like a big old pile of just clout and failure.
What I will say is the first year of
also Miami, hater. Keep that in mind.
I've seen this already.
They didn't win. It took them time, and I've been seeing this right now with like Clippers fans. They've been saying this is their time to win because the Nets have to get a year to gel. The Warriors had a year to gel,
especially with those type of players.
Together. They need to have at least a year before they're really going to come together. So I don't think that if they didn't win the championship this year, the Knicks are in a better position.
No. The Nets are too talented.
Playoffs and the Nets lose, then the Knicks are in a better position. And I agree with them because if they make the playoffs, now they look like come get us a free agent.
The Knicks, you're saying. And the Nets don't. If the Nets lose the finals,
the Nets have nowhere to go right now.
The Nets have nowhere to go.
If the Nets lose the finals,
Josh, it's win or bust. It is win or bust. They're
because what if they just go to the finals?
If they don't win the chip, wait a second. If they don't win the chip, they are all overrated.
But what if they just go back next year?
Every single one of them. No. I'm not hearing it. Every single one of them.
They don't. No, I'm not going to go that far.
This is OD. This is OD.
Are you kidding me?
You might feel that way.
Kyrie Irving, James. Yeah, but why wouldn't they win it this year?
If they don't win this year,
they just lose.
And they should blow it up.
No, they can't lose.
Get rid of one of those.
I'm not.
Wait, hold up. Time out.
No.
Like I agree with you 100% that it's chip or bust. But to say if they lose and the Knicks make the playoffs, that they're in a better position than the Nets, like
no. I'm not saying they're in a better. I'm saying they look better. The Knicks will look better.
If the Nets lose,
what does that mean though?
If the Nets lose, it is. If the Nets lose,
what does that mean though?
The ultimate crux of that is the Nets shouldn't lose. That's really
exactly.
That's better.
Something's wrong with them as players if they do not win the chip.
No, as a team, as an organization,
as players, because that's an indictment against their whole career. If they can't win, wait a second. No. This is big. This is a big deal. James Harden. Wait a second.
James ever allow that argument to fly.
LeBron started winning chips though, and then lost to an overloaded team. The Nets are an overloaded team, right?
And they lost. Listen.
This is what I'm saying. Look, James Harden was breaking Wilt's records. He was breaking Wilt's records. All there is left for him to do is win a chip. He can't blame Daryl Morey anymore. He can't blame Chris Paul. He can't blame Russell Westbrook. He can't blame D'Antoni. Oh well, I guess he can now because he's the assistant coach or whatever. But like he can't blame he can't blame most of these other guys. It's him or it's Kyrie. Kyrie wanted to be a one. He went to the Celtics. It didn't work. They looked better without him. And they still look better without him. Look at Jaylen Brown right now, man. They look better without him. He goes to the Nets. He gets injured. People are like, okay, you're injured, but we expect you to do a little better when you were healthy. Now you get KD healthy. They were losing a little bit before James Harden gets here. These are just facts. For all those who are listening, who think I'm just a hater, and that, no, these are facts. They were losing before James Harden got there. Now they have James Harden, and now they don't win a chip. The reason they got rid of their whole bench is because they believe that those three players alone are so top heavy that they cannot lose. That's why. And if they don't win, it is because of them.
But what if they just get injured?
Well, all right, we gotta play. All right. If they,
but I'm saying,
if they get injured, then okay. If they get injured,
we keep saying they got no. We keep saying they got no bench.
That's something that happens with this top heavy.
They got Joe. They got
Stop. Just stop. You said Landry Shamet off your bench list.
You didn't say Landry Fields. You said Landry Shamet.
Stop now.
Are we gonna hate on Landry Shamet now?
I mess with Landry Shamet. I've watched him for years on the Clippers. He's not the bench leader.
Spencer Dinwiddie is.
He's out for the year.
Season.
He's out for the
year. Out for the year.
He's out for the year. Yeah, it's official.
He's out for the year. Nets fan. Hey, how don't you know that?
No, Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie.
Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's. Oh, I forgot he was still on the team.
Exactly because he's out for the year.
Them news.
That's what.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. They look, man.
And that's what I was saying about the bench because Dinwiddie. That I really don't expect them to win it all this year, and Dinwiddie is going to be a big reason.
But why though? Is it because you don't believe that those three alone are enough? Plus DeAndre Jordan?
I think if Dinwiddie was playing, then I would honestly give it because they need a bench. You need to have somebody.
You need a strong bench to win.
You need, and that man's an all-star.
I would hear that out too. I wouldn't disagree. But even then, I just don't believe in those three together.
What I think is going to happen is that
could be a personal thing, but
those people, those three are either going to be overexerted at some point, and that might cause a problem injury-wise or exhaustion level-wise. Or what will happen is that in the third quarter, they're going to give up leads. In the third, at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth. I think
they're going to be like the Warriors and just start blowing people out in the third quarter.
No, because people get tired. And the Warriors would get.
You have too much silent. You have too much silent be talking about getting tired because somebody has to be Chris Bosh. Who is going to be Chris Bosh?
But the Warriors had a great bench.
Who is going to be Chris Bosh?
The Warriors had a great bench.
They could get very creative and just stagger somebody's.
That's what I was saying.
But the Warriors had a great bench. The Warriors had a great bench who allowed them to stagger people on the court with their bench playing.
Yeah, because having one or two of them out there with a bunch of scrubs, no offense to those who are on the Nets too, but having one or two of them with a bunch of guys that aren't ready yet or aren't enough as far as talent.
It's just going to turn into you are relying on that one guy again. Whereas
you're doing it against the other team's bench.
But for example, one person on the Warriors who you knew, if he's coming into the game, will keep your lead solid was Sean Livingston. They don't have that right now. Spencer Dinwiddie or Karis LeVert would have been something like that. They don't have someone like that. And then they also have like Leandro Barbosa, who could get hot. They had Festus Ezeli and Spates. These people would like maintain leads. And I think that's what's the most important thing for a bench on a team like this. Your top level stars are the people who are going to get the majority of your points. Your bench has to maintain that. And if they give it up, if they give up the lead that the Stars got, then the Stars have to come back in the game and redo all the work that they did already. And that over the course of an 82-game season and then playoffs, if your bench keeps failing you, then you're going to have to continuously do that. Like your Stars are going to have to keep coming back in the game. That was something that happened in Chicago. And that's why D Rose and all of them got worked to the ground because they were playing mad minutes because their bench would always give up leads.
You need a solid 8 or 9 in order to really do anything. But see, this is the thing though. There's a reason that they traded all those guys. They traded Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie were the future.
Yes.
They were the future. D'Angelo Russell was going to be the future, and then they clout chased and traded him away. But
oh my gosh!
But Karis LeVert, they got lucky. Got Karis LeVert. He was supposed to be the future, and they traded him away. Listen, I see a lot of as a Knicks fan. I'm seeing a lot of tendencies that I think the Knicks. I'm seeing the Nets make moves. I believe the Knicks would make,
and I think that they've been doing that. The Nets have been doing that for a
few years
because since that Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade, I've been feeling like that was wildness. I mean, I understand that they were just trying to do something with Darren Williams, but that team was actually kind of nice. I'm not even gonna lie.
That team was nice.
They weren't even better than the Knicks, though. They weren't even better than the Knicks.
But they didn't. Yeah, it wasn't really going to result in anything. It was just a.
What happened to Darren Williams? Where's he at now?
He fell out of love with the team.
He went to Cleveland and then he retired.
He fell out of love with the team.
I forgot he went to Cleveland.
He got injured a lot and he just couldn't take it. It was like, you know what?
I'm off this.
Yeah. That's really what happened. Like literally.
Joe Johnson was the longest
10-year net at one point.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's crazy.
I see. Listen, bro.
Man.
I just believe that certain basketball principles will never go away. I don't know if it's like I know slightly old fashioned, but I just don't believe that certain basketball principles don't matter anymore. Like you need a bench, you need guys that are willing to play their role. Like you need good coaching. You need coaches to put you in check. Right,
that's 100% true.
You can't allow play. Look. If you watch the last stats, you saw that Michael Jordan himself didn't even have full control over the team, and that kind of helped the team a little bit because who knows if they stay together for another year? Maybe they wouldn't have Wander in because they're all so old. Maybe that was it. Who knows?
Demanding trades and whatnot.
Who knows? You see what I'm saying? The reason that Jarrett Allen is not there right now, the reason Jarrett Allen wasn't starting, is because DeAndre Jordan is KD and Kyrie's boy, and there were reports that last year Jarrett Allen starting was getting on their nerves. They had a problem with it. There were reports that they had a problem with it, and now Jarrett Allen, who's balding out, who's younger, who was having the same, if not a better impact than DeAndre Jordan, was on the bench playing behind DeAndre Jordan, and then got shipped to Cleveland.
Now Cleveland has 5 centers.
Who doesn't need a
center? Honestly, to bring in the Wizards right now,
Cleveland needs
they should go. The Wizards should go get Jarrett Allen.
No, forget them.
Huh?
Forget the Wizards, man. They'll have Rui and
how long is Westbrook out?
And you have Thomas Bryant.
I don't know. Thomas Bryant is out right now. He's out for the season.
Yeah, he tore this year.
Man, that's OD.
Wait, who?
Thomas Bryant.
Oh, I thought you said Westbrook. I was about to say.
Nah, I'd be tight.
Man.
Isn't he out for like 6 to 8 weeks or something?
Something like that.
Westbrook?
All that to say.
He got injured.
Yeah.
All that to say. I hope they do well. Kyrie's gotta figure something out with. Oh, sorry.
Hey.
They gotta figure something out. I'm tired, yo.
So that's what you do when you're tired?
Yes.
You must be really tired when you play 2K.
Hey. That's a fact.
Oh man.
That's a fact.
No, but they gotta figure something out with Kyrie because I know he's coming back tomorrow. But this toxic, if he really is the face of this he might not be the face, but he's the leader of this franchise. You're sending a terrible message right now. And I'm not going to go where
I think this has been very overblown. I think this whole situation has been very overblown.
I agree. And like I said in the group chat, Kawhi Leonard has missed more games than Kyrie Irving.
Yes, he has.
This season.
People just want to be on him. But you
say he's toxic.
People are looking at that. So
I mean, listen, man. I'm just saying.
Pull that sage out and get back to the game.
I'm just saying, right? If you're gonna do that, and if the social climate, the political climate is weighing on you like this, and that's the reason why you want to take some days off, that's a different conversation. That's a little more reasonable, not all the way, but a little more reasonable to me. But you got to tell your team.
I agree with that.
Like, you got to tell you can't just. That's what I'm saying. This man is a leader of the team. He's the leader of the Players Association.
One thing I think we'll see though.
This is crazy, man.
With other players throughout the season, though, especially I think we'll see with somebody like a LeBron or a Chris Paul, maybe an older kind of player who has kids. I think that we'll see them also taking some games off for a similar reason, because if it means that you have to quarantine yourself and you understand what the circumstances, you understand like what the fine, now you know what that number is. Games, though. Yeah, but they still, like, Lillard was talking about the experience, and he says that the protocols say that they can only go from the gym to the hotel, to the arena, to the hotel, and rinse, wash, repeat.
But they're going, yeah. But they have home games. So if you're talking, I think if somebody, a guy like LeBron who has kids, they're gonna see their kids when they go home.
But what if they switch to the bubble?
They're not gonna switch to the bubble.
I think
they're talking about it right now.
They're not gonna switch to the bubble. They're not gonna switch to the bubble because I look. I know we see these guys having to be quarantined and all of that, and I know you guys don't pay attention to these other sports, but the NBA. They're making a big deal about this, but they're handling it so much better than the NFL and Major League Baseball. It's ridiculous. Like the problems that Major League Baseball and the NFL have had, the NBA has not had. They had an outbreak on the Miami Marlins, on the whole team. Like the whole team, they had an outbreak. Because they were taking the Major League Baseball didn't have the proper measures in place. They weren't strict enough with their measures. They just weren't. And those guys weren't willing to. A lot of them, before the season even started in baseball, they were complaining about having to do certain things. Whereas the NBA players, they agreed to go to a bubble. You see what I'm saying? I could see a bubble for the playoffs, but we don't necessarily have the problems that these other sports have in the NBA. Like we just don't. So I don't think we're gonna go to a bubble with the NBA.
I don't know. I mean,
we don't.
I think I agree with your point. I just think that if they didn't foresee some sort of problem with like the fact that these games are being keep getting postponed, and
did they not foresee it though?
Well, they're seeing it happen, and they're proposing the idea of the bubble as a result of seeing that happen. So I'm just saying that
true.
It may result in that. And we're seeing like star players get testing positive, like Karl Anthony Towns.
You know what though? I don't think here's another reason why I don't think you see a bubble, because a lot of these like delays and quarantines are because some of the players have broken protocol. It's not because they got the virus, some of them. It's because they were seen going somewhere, or they let the NBA know like they were not home or whatever. Like they did something or went to somewhere for a family reason or whatever. So they have to do this because that's what the NBA requires, just to be safe. So if they're having problems with that right now, I don't think they're going to be willing to go back to a bubble for most of the season, a heavy majority of the season, because it's still so early. Plus playoffs. You know what I mean? I don't think that's going to happen.
I can see it for the playoffs.
I can see it for the playoffs.
I think it might be safer to do now, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I agree. You wanted to talk about the Wizards or not?
We don't necessarily have to talk about the Wizards.
You don't want to talk about Westbrook?
Man, what do I really got to say?
Please, Matt.
What do I really? I don't have anything to argue about with Westbrook anymore. I just want to see him succeed. He does not fit on the Wizards. That team is terrible. That team is really terrible. Bradley Beal.
If he doesn't fit on the Wizards, then where does he?
Yeah, like why doesn't he fit on the Wizards?
I don't think it's that.
Who's he gonna pass to besides Bradley Beal? He needs to be like. It's just not. It's not a good team. I mean, okay. I take it back. Maybe not fit it because that actually is a team he would fit on. It really is, but they don't have the pieces to like. They're just wasting his talent. Same thing with Bradley Beal. That team should be blown up and started again because they got too many poor players that are not doing anything, and they also have a nice mix of young guys, but it's just not a big enough connection. There's too many whack players on that team. They need to bring somebody in. And they brought in Russell Westbrook, which is a great addition to start, building something up, but it's not enough. Like the level of whackness on the Wizards, like people don't really understand how whack they are.
But like I've also been like reading people like who like watch like comments and stuff, and they're watching like the local Wizards like stuff. A lot of people are complaining about Scott Brooks.
I'm sure they are.
No, but I heard like he plays like 4 guard lineups for like
that's a fact.
10 minutes. And like,
that's a fact.
I mean, I didn't know that because I don't have like league pass or anything, but that's crazy. Like how can you not get outscored if you got like a 4 guard lineup?
Well, I mean, I was watching those Wizards games to see what was going on, and what I kept seeing was that this guy Thomas Bryant cannot do anything. He's
nothing.
Just. I mean, he
not a damn thing.
But it's
not a damn thing.
It's a troubling situation though, because when he and Westbrook are on the court together, they are both fulfilling the same space, not doing not shooting.
Which is why I talk so much about Westbrook's lack of shooting.
So you have to have 4 guards on the court, like to be honest with you, because your center can't too much
and take up space.
They have shooting big men. There's no need for 4 guards on the court.
Their shooting big men are whack. Let me tell you something. That team is
Morris Wagner is whack.
If they have
Morris Wagner is whack.
Yes.
Oh man, I thought
they have David Bertans, Mo Wagner,
whack.
Rui,
whack.
Rui's not a shooter. Rui's not a shooter.
You can't shoot.
Not like that.
Athletic.
Rui is nice. Their team is whack.
They have like. There's no reason to have a 4 guard lineup in today's NBA.
I don't know.
I mean, if it's just
that's OD.
I think if you don't have a shooting guard, and I don't mean a shooting guard position, I mean a guard who can shoot the ball. If you don't have a shooting guard, then you have to have.
What about Bradley?
Another. Well, I'm talking about that's one person. So if you're gonna have a guard on the court at that moment who can't shoot well, then you have to have another position who can shoot to complement, like to make up for that, to balance that. And most of the time, that's going to be a guard as opposed to a big man.
Yeah,
see, that's why big men. That's my point.
Yeah, that's true too. But what if their liabilities on the other end? Like I don't know. Listen, all I know is this: Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, especially the way Bradley Beal is balling out, there's no way they should be this bad. There's no way. There's no reason.
Westbrook should go to the Warriors, man.
And do what?
Win. He would win. No, I think he would be nice on the Warriors because he'd just pass it to Steph.
High key, he should go to the Clippers.
The heck would he be doing there?
Nah, you wanted it though. You wanted it.
I thought you wanted it.
Yeah, what happened? That's some energy. Hold on.
Speaking of the Clippers though, Paul George is back to MVP level.
Listen, man, I don't even want to talk about it. That's a fact, though. That's a fact, though. He's back to his MVP levels.
He's playing nice.
The return.
The regular season.
I know Paul's gonna bring up that 50-point loss, but I'll give you that. But
that was the worst
MVP level.
That
was the worst loss in history, man. Oh my god!
Other than that, they've been playing really nice.
Yo, my god!
Oh man,
y'all's trash for real. Y'all see that video by what's that team? RCD or RCI, whatever their name is.
RCD
World. RCD World.
RDC World. Shout out RDC World.
RDC World. They made one.
Let's collab.
Yeah, let's work.
Supreme Dream One.
Let's build.
Supreme Dreams One.
Rivers, calling or
talking to the mic. Talking to the mic.
Rivers after the 50-point loss.
Talking to the mic.
Doc Rivers.
They made a video of Tyronn Lue calling Doc Rivers after the 50-point loss, and Doc Rivers just telling them, "Y'all trash. Y'all trash." I was telling y'all it wasn't me.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
George, I remember that. Paul George, I want you to know it wasn't me. It's definitely you. Not me. Y'all see what I'm doing with the 76ers? We're a new team.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what's going on with the Wizards though. I remember they showed Westbrook just like on the bench after a loss, or like when he was, and the coach had to like come over there and like cheer him up. I didn't want.
That was the third game of the season.
That was ridiculous. I didn't want to see that. That was
son. That was the third game of the season.
I didn't want to have. There's no reason they should be this bad. I knew they weren't gonna be that nice, but I didn't know they were gonna be this bad. Like,
I really thought I really was out here saying some hoopla last time we talked. So they're gonna be a 5th seed. I underestimated how terrible.
But when you got two players like Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, that's not that crazy to say.
That's not crazy to say. They should be the 5th seed.
Man, at least
that team is so bad after them.
I don't know what's.
Actually, you know when I realized how bad they were? I played Tina in 2K, and I used them, and she used the Celtics, and I tried everything I could with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, and they had 30 points each, and I got smacked. That team is so.
Well, the Celtics are nice. like I don't know why you did that. I don't know what you were trying to miracle. Yeah,
that team is so bad. They just have nothing. They have no heart.
That's what it is. No heart.
No heart. No coaching.
I don't know why they did this, but I really don't know.
I don't know if it's
hard. No reason for it.
I think they all want to win.
I don't know if they all want to win. I know Russ wants to win.
That's OD.
That's Bradley Beal wants to win.
That's OD. So just because somebody's whack, that means they don't want to win.
Yeah. Look at Andrew Wiggins.
What about him?
Sure, man.
He doesn't want to win, and he's whack.
That's OD.
See, that's the thing, though. They say that about Harden, though. They say that about Harden. He doesn't want to win, and that's why they don't win. Like, he just wants to win his way and all that. I don't think that's necessarily the case. But
that's how I feel about Harden and Westbrook, if we're going to say that.
But
I just don't think that's true.
I think that's going to be the case now, because who is going to be Chris Bosh? I need an answer, man.
Kyrie Irving has to be.
You think that man is going to be Chris Bosh, and he didn't even want to be number 2 to LeBron?
Listen,
I think I was a younger.
I've never been able to look down
honestly
and say that guy can take the shot too.
Kyrie's a different man now.
Yeah, that's a fact. I honestly think it'll be Kyrie too. I could see Kyrie increasing his assist numbers and lowering his scoring.
Why wouldn't he do that when he had all that talent around him?
What I actually can see, I can see Kyrie playing off ball a little more.
Yeah.
James Harden be the primary ball handler.
But if he's off ball but still getting the same amount of shots.
The way that he plays right now is like
ball
this street ball. Yeah, like he doesn't play that way.
It's so cross you out, break you down.
A different kind of.
And then if I have to kick out his last second of the KD for a shot.
3 guys is a lot. Listen, 3 guys is a lot. When I saw Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James, I thought there was a chance that we could see like a little more equity when it comes to first, second, and third player.
Mm-hmm.
That was even more lopsided than it was on the Heat with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and LeBron. So that showed me that when there's only so many, like I learned a lot from that. Like there's only so many balls to go around. Like there's one basketball
because LeBron's play style demands that. Come on, man. I disagree with that because LeBron's play style literally demands that.
You say LeBron's play style literally demands that, but James Harden's kind of does too. Somebody got to be the ball handler.
I think
LeBron's skill set, not just his play style, but his skill set. I think James Harden does have like this.
What I could see,
you know what confuses it though?
Playing off ball before D'Antoni.
But you know what confuses? Quick, Josh. You know what confuses it though? Durant. If let's say Durant is the LeBron in this situation, Durant is a scorer. Like he could be. We've seen him on the Thunder average like 10 assists over a long period of time, over games upon games. But that when he's doing that, that's not him at his best. Him at his best is demoralizing the other team's defense by scoring. That's him.
A fact. What I could see with another thing I could see is that Harden already scores so much over this little step back, but the thing is, like, before he does it, he'll just dribble for 20 seconds. But it's not like the space that he gets when he does the step back is not usually a lot. It's still a tough shot. Most of his shots are tough shots. So what I could see is just him doing that with a shorter period of time. Like now you have Kyrie and KD running the offense, and then maybe James Harden will be the one where you just do a step back three, boom.
So instead of dribbling before chucking, he just
instead of exactly, he just shoots it because we already know that he can shoot that well. It's not like he's getting he gets separation, but it's not like crazy.
Nah, it's still very contested.
He's contested all the time. Shots. So yeah, he's just I could see that happening, similar to like almost like Klay Thompson.
Nah, see that's the thing. Like, who's gonna be Klay?
That's what I'm saying. He maybe.
So what's Kyrie gonna do?
Kyrie's gonna be.
He'll be himself. He'll just be himself.
I think if
Kyrie's not taking any Chris Bosh, man. Kyrie's not gonna take Chris Bosh because if I'm telling you, like they're gonna have to take time to get their chemistry together. And when they're losing games while doing that, because they were losing games already trying to get the chemistry together, now they got to start over. So while they're losing games doing that, Kyrie Irving being the third option is not, and the leader of the team is not going to take that. Like, it's one thing when you're winning, but when you're losing as a superstar, you're going to be like, nah, this is not working. You need to run this offense through me so that we can win games. Not just so that I could just get my numbers and look better, so that I could win games. It's more than just looking good. It's like, we're not winning and I'm not looking good. So maybe if you allow me, you see what that's where the ego's going to come in. That's where the ego's going to come in.
I think the question the person asked, I don't know what that interviewer's name, the guy who asked Harden like today about if he'll still be a great scorer if he's off ball. Yeah. I think that and it's something that we talk about in 2K, like you have to keep yourself motivated, shoot or shoot. And like Kyle Korver said it once, like he doesn't get the ball like that. Mm-hmm. But he always has to keep his mind in the game. JJ Redick says it too. He always has to keep his mind ready to know that he's going to get this ball at some point, playing with LeBron or whatever, at some random point when LeBron decides to just pass it to you. You better be ready and shoot that shot, or else your value is not there. Your value is gone. Exactly. And so Harden has already become comfortable having the ball in his hands and dribbling a lot to get to his points. So he may lose interest, honestly. He could become disinterested in like his skill set. He's ridiculously talented as a scorer, but I think that a lot of his skill set comes from the open the green light that they give him, like we're running in a rush. Yeah, like you have to get hype. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. And I say it with 2K. Like when I'm ISOing guys in the Pro-Am or whatever, it's crazy. I have to. I have to. But it's real.
I know what James Harden goes through. I know what James Harden goes through, man. You see,
listen, man.
In my Pro-Am team,
I can't play real basketball right now, man. It's a pandemic. Okay, I don't have the same privileges as the NBA.
That's a fact. Where's the Donald Trump? Thank you.
But when you're in a game, you see your guy, you're about to heat up. You have to get yourself in that. That's what a rhythm dribble. That's why they call it a rhythm dribble. You have to get in that rhythm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why people have signature moves.
Carmelo talked about it. Carmelo talked about it when he was talking about going to the bench. How it's a mental shift, and how he would have liked to have gotten a more of a notice to get himself mentally prepared to do it. Now, I don't see any of them going to the bench, although I do believe that would actually help them a lot.
100%. But I don't think it's going to be James Harden. He already has to
now about Melo.
Wait, what'd you say? Wait, hold on. What'd you say, Andre?
I'm saying I don't think it's going to be James. Like, if all these alterations that you're talking about has to be Kyrie. Every single one.
I don't think it has to be Kyrie.
It has to be Kyrie.
I think you're saying that because we view him as the lesser of the two.
No. I'm saying that because, yes, he is the lesser of the two. That's number one.
Oh, but that doesn't matter.
No, number two, it's because it's the willingness. Kevin Durant is being considered by some as the number 2 player in the world, by others as the number 1 player in the world. Mm-hmm. So he's not going on the bench. James Harden had to go on the bench for Oklahoma City, and he doesn't want to do that again.
Why not? Ego.
Yeah, but it's just not going to happen.
Should not be on the bench anyway.
Huh?
He shouldn't even be on the bench.
He shouldn't.
It's not his ego.
If anybody should be on the bench, it should be Kyrie.
No, he shouldn't be.
You think Kyrie Irving looks at James Harden and thinks this guy is better than me?
None of them should be on the bench.
I think for it to work,
they should stifle Kyrie's minutes. Well, honestly, that would actually be cheese. To be honest with you,
that's what I'm saying.
Wait a second.
But Kyrie, one of them just dominating the bench.
Honestly,
just stagger the minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly, somebody should just come off the bench. Wait a second.
That's what I'm saying. But the staggering the minutes.
Wait a second.
The highest bench score in the league, and he would violate every other bench.
You know what though? We've seen situations like this, and they don't usually stagger the minutes that much because I realize in the finals, but in the playoffs, you're gonna need the utmost chemistry between your three best players.
That is a fact.
So they want to create that from the jump.
You can't have one person playing off the bench unless that person is Harden, because he wouldn't care. He already doesn't. Really? He already put here, but I'm saying he already plays at ISO ball in Houston.
Yeah, honestly, imagine James.
It's an ego hit
off the bench.
But I'm saying you take KD and Kyrie out the game, and then Harden comes in and does what he was doing, and then he does what he was doing in Houston.
That's an ego.
He was willing to do that. If he was legitimately willing to do that, but I don't think he would.
Yeah, it's a status.
Top 5 position in the league, best scorer in the league, to being come off the bench.
But he would still
this type of stuff is unnatural, man.
As a bench player. He would still be able to do those things. The only thing that would change is that his status would be bench instead of starter.
No, he will be considered to be a lesser player than we thought he was, because we were looking
against whacker players.
Because we will look at him and say you have to go in order for him to win. You can't do it as the star. You have to be a lesser player in order to win. You have to sacrifice.
Does he care about anything?
I mean that's
come on, man. They're in there.
Look, that's already done. That's already out there. That's already how he's looked at right now.
That's what I'm saying.
See, but I think personally, because look, man, this is unnatural to see. He's in his prime right now, in the middle, or maybe you could say the tail end, or heading towards the tail end of his prime. These guys are not thinking to themselves, I can't win by myself. They're thinking, I'm going to team up. We're all going to ball out. We're all going to look good. And we're all going to we're going to win 3 chips. Kyrie's going to be the first MVP, finals MVP. Kevin Durant's going to be the second MVP, finals MVP. And James Harden's going to be third finals MVP. This is how they look at it.
But I don't know, because I'm going to go back to a point I said. I'm going to go back to a point I said earlier outside of the podcast that I just lost the point. Hold on. My gosh, I just had it and then it just flew out of my head. All right. When you have a team, okay, now I remember what it was. It was about Kevin Durant and about a lot of these players in these situations with the reputation of not winning. Mm-hmm. I saw something earlier, and when I saw it, it really spoke to me, because they were saying KD already has the reputation of never, ever, by sports media, ever being greater than Kobe, LeBron, or MJ, right? Mm-hmm. That's because of what he did in terms of going to Golden State. People view it as his legacy will never be better. Mm-hmm. So in his perspective, if he's already viewed that way, as I'm never going to be better than them, but I'm still but I'm never going to be the greatest, then let me just go get as many chips as possible right now. And
you should have stayed on the Warriors for that.
And get these, but the Warriors are falling apart. I mean, he just formed another super team right now.
The Warriors are falling apart because he left.
Exactly.
He didn't leave.
But he formed another super team. He doesn't. What does he care?
Why did he form? See, this is what I'm saying. Though I think that their mentalities are not the same as the traditional superstars. They really feel.
That's why I'm saying it's not about looking good, because I think it's more.
It's always about looking good. It's always about looking good when you're that nice.
But why would James Harden willingly go to a place where his individual stats are going to be hurt, but his chance at a championship is better?
Because they all look nice.
He's not going to look nicer.
That's what I'm trying to say. I feel that they will all look. This is what I'm saying. And what's going on right now in the NBA, and this was started by LeBron James. This is unnatural. Players in their primes should not just the way basketball works, should not be joining up with other players in their primes and winning chips. They should be going up against each other, iron sharpen iron. That I'm just talking about from a physical, not physical, but from just a structural perspective, from how the league should run at its best. These players should be going against each other, iron sharpen iron. They change what they have to change mentally, physically, skill wise, get better and elevate. IQ included, intangibles included, and then overcome the hump. But and then we see, well, hold on, wait a second. And then we see who's the best from those scenarios. But that's not what we have been seeing the past decade, honestly. We've seen players joining up with each other and saying, we need help to win anyway. Let's just help each other and we'll all look good. But Kevin Durant left the Warriors for a reason. And I'm saying I think he still feels like he could look like that because the Nets don't have that culture. They don't have that history per se. They don't have that guy. They don't have that Stephen Curry and Clay yet. So it's gonna look more like a Heat where LeBron could go over there and take over. Kevin Durant come over here, take over. That's why I believe that
Kevin Durant is different than Harden though. He's in a different. He already has championships.
I don't even think it's that anymore. I think now what we have from like in the last 10 years has been like two prevailing like schools of thoughts about this.
Yes.
Right? You have, and here's where I think KD is, and I think a lot of NBA players are, and a certain sect of NBA fans too. But I think it's mostly the players themselves, and especially someone like KD. I think you have someone who thinks that if you're nice, you are nice regardless. I used to think KD like cared about chips and that's where he went. But like he says he doesn't care anymore, and I'm starting to believe him.
I agree.
And he thinks if you are nice, you are nice. All he cares about is other players thinking he's nice. Like if
I don't know if he would feel that way if he didn't have chips, though.
I don't know. I used to think that too, but the way he talks, I think he really doesn't care.
That's confusing.
I think you can feel that way once you've. I don't know if you would feel it because he has Finals MVPs and chips. He was already getting the greatest feeling as that you can get as an NBA player, you know. So now
he thought it would be the greatest feeling. I think that he thought it would be the great. I mean, what you're saying,
the way he earned them, honestly. I think that's
wait, what did you say, Andre?
I think the way he earned them cheapened it for him.
That's a fact.
Yeah, but that's my point. That's my point. In his mind, he won't even care. Like in us, and like maybe like old school players like Charles Barkley or something. Yeah, but to him,
so like, he doesn't care.
So why did he go? To the Nets? Why did he go to the Nets?
Because he literally went to go play with his boy Kyrie, who he thinks is as nice as like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he went to like prove himself. I think he just wanted. I think he literally wanted.
I agree with that.
So Allan, wait, why do you think Harden went there? Right. That's where I was going. Why do you think Harden went there?
Harden got traded
because I'm starting to think Harden.
He requested the trade.
I'm starting to think Harden might be thinking the same thing. Like he was just tired of Houston for like I don't know whatever reason he says, and then he was like, "KD's nice over here. I'm nice. We could win a chip like this." But he's not thinking like his chips are going to be.
See, this is why LeBron is on a different level from a lot of these other guys, man.
I think these people though.
So why LeBron's on the.
Let me finish this point.
Okay.
Like if you ask like a lot of players in the league, like they'll tell you like KD is the best player, right?
Probably.
I don't know if it's like more than LeBron, but a lot of players will tell you. Like Brandon Ingram says it. Like a lot of people will say like KD is the best player in the league. I think more so he cares about that more so than like people thinking he's one of the greatest for all time because of the chips.
I wonder how he feels about Carmelo then, because everybody will say he was the toughest player to guard at one point.
But I think winning changes. Winning gets you respect. Winning gets you a whole lot of respect, and I think that like a lot of these players
from who though, Josh? Nomad.
It gets you from fans.
What did you say his name was?
Sports media.
Nomad.
It's a fact. I think it gets you a lot of respect from fans and sports media. And one like a few situations I see. Anthony Davis, right? I talk about it all the time. When he was in New Orleans, he was not winning. And he was still, people kept saying he's going to take over the league or whatever. But he wasn't really a threat. Yeah, he wasn't really a threat to people. Like people were, it was still Steph and LeBron, Giannis.
Nicer than so many other people, though.
Yeah, but he's nicer than these people.
He's weren't a threat.
But as soon as he got to the Lakers, now he wins, and his reputation is changing like this. He's the best power forward in the league. It's almost like his whole time with New Orleans is getting deleted.
See, yeah, it is.
It's really crazy.
But I feel like
ESPN has him as the number 2 player in the world.
Yeah, like he's a number. And so players are looking at.
I feel like people were saying about him before he even won, though. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I 100% agree with.
I agree with you to an extent, Alan, but I think that I see it now to a higher level, and it's like confirmed. I feel like before people were predicting it in a sense, in the way that they were saying that you might say like Luka is going to be the guy. But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So Luka is young.
Yeah.
Luka is young, and he deserves it. Like you can still say that. Anthony Davis was getting that for 5, 6 something years.
7.
Yeah, 7 years in New Orleans that he's gonna be the guy. But now that he's on the Lakers, he is receiving the same respect that he really deserves from his skill level. But because he won, he's getting it now. But you look at somebody like Lillard, who is loyal to Portland to a fault.
Someday,
I don't know if he's gonna win.
Someday, I want to get an NBA champion on this podcast, and I want to ask them what makes a superstar a winner. Because there's Dudley? Something.
Wait, Glenn Davis. Yo. All right, listen here. Glenn Davis. We may have had our differences in the past. We have beefed, and you've had a lot of beef in your life.
That's so crazy.
Hey, yo.
That's so crazy.
But if you want to talk some real basketball, come join Fast Breaks. Talk about your times with the Celtics and with Doc Rivers.
Not the Clippers?
No. Man, I'm trying to forget that ever happened.
I remember once I saw Glenn Davis get blocked by the rim. That shit was crazy.
So he probably complained about it. But no, I think that these players, they're seeing the old heads debate them, the Shaqs and the Isaiah Thomases and whatnot, debating them. And you look at it from a fan perspective. I understand what you talked about in terms of competition and loyalty. That is the ideal sports product. A person represents a city, wins a championship for that city, right. Parade through that city. That is the ideal sports story. Mm-hmm. But our sports media, in my personal opinion, does not value that as much as they value winning. I don't think that we see players like Dirk or Tim Duncan receive the same level because they stayed. I disagree. Like you see Kobe get that love.
I disagree.
But who do you see that's getting that? Like
you can't compare current players to legends. Retired legends. You can't do it. This is why I thought Kevin, because you did kind of like raise like I didn't think about it like that, Alan. I really didn't, but it kind of makes sense. But there's certain things I'm still confused about. But I thought he left the Warriors, Kevin Durant, to go to the Nets and build a legacy. I thought that's what he wanted to do and prove everybody wrong and legitimize his rings on the Warriors by winning 1 or 2 on the Nets. I thought that's why he went there. Similar reason to why LeBron went back to the Cavs and won that chip. Unfinished business. It wasn't just because he cares about Cleveland. It's because we know
KD had unfinished business. He should have gone to Oklahoma City.
I think LeBron is the last of the players. Maybe.
Well, I don't think he thinks he
not the last. LeBron.
Anything to OKC.
What'd you say? I didn't hear that.
I don't think that KD thinks he owes anything to OKC.
Not OKC. No.
Because I actually think that the way that what happened with OKC is partly what pushed him.
That's why he went to the Warriors. Yeah, of course.
Because I remember that article that they called him Mr. Unreliable in his MVP season, and it's a fair assessment. If you don't win for your team and there's a 3-1 lead blown and things like that, I get it. But he was also putting on for that franchise for years and years and years and years and years. Sure. And people then say he's unreliable, you know. So now he's going to be like, well, I did everything I could, and I'm the MVP, and you're not giving me the respect. My hometown, local newspaper.
There's some. You see, this is when I talk to you, Josh. No, whatever.
Hey,
when I talk to you,
whatever,
sir,
whoever the hell you are.
When I talk to you, sir,
the fact
about
an alien,
about these players and the all-time status and greatness. When I talk to you about greatness, I get the sense from you that you think winning is overrated. Winning championships is overrated. Because this is why I get that vibe, because I feel like you're talking about Anthony Davis. He won a chip. And I don't believe that people are talking about him differently now just because he won a chip. It's because of what it takes to win a chip. And that's why I'm saying one of these days I want to get an NBA superstar champion or somebody that won a championship with a superstar like a Kenny Smith to talk about what it takes for a superstar to be a champion. Because I feel like there's another level that you got to get to that separates you. Like there's levels. I think that Tracy McGrady and Kobe, and even Tracy McGrady would say that, although the skill levels are very similar, right? It's different. It's different.
But I think that it's a situational based thing too.
It's more than that. Yeah, it is. That's a big deal, but it's more than that. Because
what I'm saying is
we've seen teams. Listen. Your Clippers from last year, that was a good situation.
I mean, it was a good situation, but what I mean is that if you were a superstar, like Anthony Davis was doing, he was doing amazing in New Orleans. He's putting up amazing MVP numbers.
Yes.
But at a certain point, I think that he realized that there was a ceiling that his organization could provide. Because the reality is, if these people are going to stay for their hometowns, then the organization has to provide a team around them, a system around them to support that player. There's a ceiling that the organization can provide for his talent level. And he's going to stay there, riding it out, you know, being loyal to his city, putting up numbers and numbers and numbers, and keep being met at the same channel, at the same stop. Because his organization is not putting enough talent around him. Now, if I'm that kind of superstar, and I'm understanding that my legacy is now on the line, and this organization is not doing what it needs to do, then yeah, I want to be loyal to my city, but I might have to go to a better situation. I mean, even the best situation, the greats like Kobe was even demanding from the Lakers, unless you put talent around me, I'm going to Chicago.
That's agreed. I think that's and with that fear in mind, I think that kind of facilitated a little bit. Then that's actually getting James Harden. But for now, you know, we talk about all these things. There's a lot to see. There's a lot of basketball left to be played this season. And for now, I think, and I'm saying this because we're getting ready to wrap up here. I think we have to see what's going to happen. You know, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that team in particular adjusts throughout the rest of the season. And
you think Kyrie is out of line with how he's handling this thing, sir?
Do I think he's out of line?
Yeah, well, the personal reasons thing.
I don't know if he's out. I think it's a little unprofessional not to let your organization know, but I don't know if out of line. Listen, people need a break. This is hard.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that.
There's a pandemic outside. People are away from their families. Being on the road is tough.
Insurrection.
There's a literal insurrection that happened at the Cavs. These are tough times. We've never seen a mix of that. So I think the least he could have done is, you know, let the Nets organization know, not just text his fellow teammates. And it also tells you exactly where Kyrie sees himself.
Where's everyone getting that from?
I've seen it on multiple sources now.
Getting what?
The Nets just didn't know. Like
the Nets didn't know.
That's what I don't know about.
That's why Steve Nash the same day was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know where he is. Like he was AWOL. Like the day this started. Like he literally didn't tell anybody until days later.
Yeah, okay, wait. There's a difference between not knowing like where he is and then not knowing that he's out for like a real personal reason. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like Kyrie. Like people are making this. This is the thing where I'm saying like it's so overblown. People are making it seem like Kyrie just didn't show up one day. Like,
yes.
Kyrie never said nothing, and he just
yes.
That what happened?
That is what happened.
Was Kyrie out for what he calls a personal reason? No one knows what that personal reason is.
I think what happened is that it started off like that. And then he started telling his teammates and then Steve Nash. But then the video came out of him maskless at his sister's party. So now everybody's like they're combining everything now. They're saying, okay, this is unacceptable. Now that was too far for a lot of people when they saw that video. Mm-hmm. But before it did start off with them literally not knowing where he was. Like he and not answering his phone and all of that. It literally was that.
I agree.
I think that's a possibility, and I also think there's a possibility that the Nets could be looking out for not necessarily lying, but I said it before.
I could see that too.
Taking his supporting him,
that's not support.
The NBA just fined him $50,000.
That's not support,
and they're going to continue to investigate what happened.
That's a fact.
I'm saying
that's
they're not giving they're not giving the real reasons out.
The same day, they were like they weren't even saying personal reasons. Started off as personal reasons because he was healthy and was not telling anybody where he was. Then people started to find out what the personal reasons might be. But it started off with them not knowing where he was. That's why I'm saying they weren't trying to cover for him, because I think covering for him would be he needed time off for personal reasons and nobody would say a word. But everybody at first, the first 2 days were like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know where he is. Steve Nash himself literally said it. Like, I don't know where he is. Like, I saw the press conference. Like, I don't know what's going on. We're trying to get in contact with him. Like that's the stuff they were saying. So that's how it started off. Then you see the video, and then it's like, okay, where his priorities. Then you see he was in a Zoom meeting for the DA, the fundraiser. So now people are like, oh, he wants to be an activist or whatever. I don't know.
Kyrie's always been an activist, and he's going to continue.
He's always had that mentality. That is a fact.
But so I think this is a good point to leave it off, because this is just going to keep derailing from here. But the Nets play tomorrow night. James Harden makes his debut. Kyrie will likely be out, and we don't know when he's coming back. But potentially, if he tests out and he's negative, he'll be back tomorrow. So we might actually, as fans.
He's ruled out for tomorrow already.
He's ruled out already.
Because of
the coronavirus protocols.
Okay, so then he's ruled out. So we're not going to see them together for a minute. So the chemistry is still going to take time to build. But James Harden makes his Brooklyn Nets debut tomorrow night. And the NBA is going to be watching. And LeBron James is going to be watching. And the rest of the league is going to be watching and be put on notice about
Kyrie. I'm not Thanos.
I'm 36.
It's going to be very interesting thinking about, because when this comes out, the game would have been played already. True. And then they're going to hear all of this stuff. That's going to be interesting.
True.
Hear how people feel.
But with that, thank you for joining us for this episode of Fast Breaks presented by the Soapbox. We'll catch y'all later. Let's go Nets.
Nobody respects that, sir.
Let's go Nets.
Yeah, all right.
I'm about to cut that part out.
Crickets, nah. Put a crickets after that.
Crickets?
Crickets after. I have a crickets sample. I'll send that to you. I'm gonna send you a cricket sample.
Let me see. This is the best I got.
What the hell is that?
That sounds like a very violent wake up.
All right, that was all right. We're up.
All right, let's go.
Nets.